Hey folks, welcome back to another video of the Flutter Development course brought to you by Newton School. My name is Harsh and I am currently working as a Flutter developer at Hoop, and I have worked as an intern at Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. I have also worked as a Flutter developer intern at a firm named AppScript, and I am also an educator on Udemy and Unix, where my Flutter development courses have more than 40,000 plus enrollment, so you can check them out as well. Talking about what Newton School is, so basically Newton School is a platform that helps you to learn and develop the skills that you need for your best tech career. They have courses specifically designed for freshers, working professionals, and for women with no prior experience in tech. Newton School first trains you for 6 months and helps you become a full stack developer. It has also a network of 300 plus great companies who hire directly from Newton School. So once your training is complete, they also ensure that you are placed with one of the best companies in the country. There is also a pay after placement program where you don't have to pay anything to Newton School until and unless you are placed with a minimum CTC of 5 lakh rupees per annum, and that is one of the great things which they have. They also have another amazing initiative known as Launchpad, where they are providing you with some of the courses for free of cost, and you can go through those courses, learn the skills, and also get a certificate of completion to showcase your progress on social media. So yeah, make sure to check out Newton School and Launchpad through the link given in the description. Now talking about what will be covered in this video. So in this video I am going to cover about the phone number authentication thing which we have in Flutter and Firebase. So we'll be having a text field where you will be entering your phone number, and when you'll be clicking on the submit button, it will be providing you with a code in a form of a text message, and you then have to enter that code to complete the authentication, and your number will be registered in the Firebase dashboard. So we'll be working on this thing. So yeah, let's start with the dashboard setup at first. So herein you can see that I have my Firebase project open over here inside the dashboard. I'll be going into the authentication section, and here you can see that I have a sign in method tab. I'll be clicking on add new provider, and from here we are having a native provider option which has a phone in it. So I'll be clicking on enable. Here you can see that we need to make additional configuration steps which I'll be covering while I'm in my code editor. So I'll be telling you about the same over there. And another thing which is available over here is that you can add a phone number for testing. So for example, if you are testing your app and you want the code to be a specific one, for example, I have my number and I want that I should always use this particular specific code when I am testing my application. So I can specify my number with my country code, and herein I'll be asked to enter a verification code according to my end. So for example, my number is 91 and this is my number, and herein I can add the verification code as well. And if I'll be clicking on add, so each time when I'm logging in with this number, so it won't be sending any text message to me. I'll be directly provided with a screen where I can enter the verification code, which is going to be this, and now clicking on submit, I'll be like confirmed, and my user will be authenticated with the phone sign-in authentication and would be saved into the Firebase dashboard. So this is another thing which you can do, and clicking directly save, you will be like enabling this particular phone authentication thing from your dashboard. Now the next thing which remains is that we need to go to the our project, and we need to make some setups and the code for and add the code for the same. But before going over there, here you can see that to prevent abuse, new projects have a current SMS daily quota of 50 per day, which means that you will be able to only send 50 messages or 50 confirmation texts with the particular verification code in particular day when you are like having a new project. So if you want to increase that quota, you need to add your credit card inside or debit card inside your particular project and have a billing account as well. So make sure to take care of this as well. And yeah, now let me just switch to the code editor and let's start working on this particular implementation. So here you can see that I have switched the screen and have opened the app which we were working on in the previous video. So in the previous video I have shown you the implementation of the Firebase real-time database, and for this video we are going to implement the phone sign-in authentication. So let's start by creating a new file which will be with the name of phone sign-in screen .dart, and herein by mistake I have made SS capital, so I'll be renaming it. Yeah, so at first importing the material.dart file. After that we need to create a stateless widget. So the name of it would be phone screen only, and inside this we need to create some of the variables which will be required. So at first we'll be needing a phone controller, and a code controller as well, which will be used for like editing the things inside the controllers which we'll be having for the text field. So one would be for phone controller, and it will be equal to text editing controller. Next we'll be having a particular code controller, so I'll be copying it and I can edit this from here. So code controller, and I guess I need to remove this, or I can just remove this const over here. Yeah, so next thing which I need to create is a particular function which will be for logging in the user. So I'll be creating a function of type future which will be having a void as a return type, and the name of it would be login user, which takes a phone number and the context, and inside it we'll be having Firebase auth initialized at first. So Firebase auth, and it will be having a name as underscore auth only, and it will be equal to Firebase auth dot instance. And I guess I haven't imported this, so quick fix and import Firebase auth as well. Yeah, so next I can create verify number function with the help of this underscore auth. So this underscore auth has a verify phone number function where we need to specify a large number of things, starting with the phone number, verification complete, verification failed, code sent, code auto retrieval timeout, etc. So we need to add all of these things one by one. So let's start by adding the phone number at first. So herein we are taking a phone over here, so we'll be using that only inside this phone number. Next we are having a timeout as well inside this, although like it's not requesting it by default, or it is not a required entity. So I'll be passing a timeout of duration, and the seconds would be 30. So if you want to make your code expire in particular duration, so you can specify that thing over here inside the timeout. Next we have this verification completed. So herein we'll be getting the auth credentials as soon as the verification is completed, and then we can use those credentials to perform any of the functions according to our need. And the functions which we can perform is that of like popping the user, making the sign in with credential request, as we are doing it from the past few videos where we have the sign in methods being called from GitHub or from Twitter. So we can do those things as well. And herein I'll be first popping up the screen. So navigator.pop context. After this I'll be creating a user credential variable. So the name of it would be result, and herein I'll be awaiting the things, and we'll be making underscore auth dot sign in with credential request. And for the credentials, what I can pass over here is the credentials which we are getting from the auth credentials. So passing those, and yeah, next I'll be getting a user out of this. So this user would be of a kind nullable user, and it will be equal to result.user. So this result would be returning us with a user. So we'll be setting the value of that user inside this nullable user variable. Now we'll be making a check if the user is null or not. So if user is not equals to null, if user would not be equal to null, in that particular case we'll be pushing another screen, or we'll be pushing a dialog box where we'll be requiring a particular you can say code that is the verification code that the user needs to enter to make the verification complete. So we'll be pushing that. So navigator dot push, and I guess I have removed this from here, and the route would be material page route, and this takes a builder. For the builder I can pass anything, or let me just add context over here, then an arrow function, and we'll be having phone home screen. So this would be in this particular screen would be like occurring when we have like verified the user and the user has all the things set up. For example, like the user has already logged in, so in that particular case we have this being called, or this screen being displayed, and this phone screen will be taking a user as well. So let me create or let me add that user thing here as well. And we need to create this phone home screen as well. So let me just quickly create it, as it is not a big thing, and like we are having small things only inside this phone number home screen. So phone underscore home underscore screen dot. It will be another stateless widget class. So importing material dot at first, stateless, having a name as phone home screen, and deleting this, creating a final nullable user variable which we'll be getting from that screen, and a constructor as well for this phone home screen, and we'll be assigning it the user which we'll be getting, we'll be assigning that to this user. I need to import the user as well, and inside this build what I can specify is a scaffold at first, and in this scaffold we'll be having a body which has a container, and we can specify the padding as well inside this container. So padding would be edge insets dot all, and value of 30 from all the sides, or value of 32 from all the sides. And for the child we'll be having a column. For this column we'll be having main axis alignment set as center, and the cross axis alignment would be set as start. And I guess I have deleted a bracket by mistake, so let me add that and some commas. Yeah, so now we can add the child inside this column. So children, the first one would be a text which says you are logged in now. Next we have a sized box of height 16, and next a text again which will be displaying the phone number. So dollar, and if the user is not equals to null, we will be displaying phone number from it. So phone number, it's not showing me this thing, so so maybe we can display the screen name or ID, because for now it's not showing us with this. Later on we can replace that phone number over there, and now we can import this in this particular screen as well. And we are displayed that the type user can't be assigned to a type nullable user. So let me remove a nullable from here and see. Yeah, so the error which we were facing is that we have imported the user from the user entity, and we need to import the user from Firebase auth. So I have changed that thing, and now we are getting a phone number as well. I'll be making this user nullable again and removing this required from here. And now I guess we can pass the user in here inside this phone screen which we are having, inside this phone underscore sign in underscore screen. And if this if condition is not working, then we will be having an else condition as well, which will be just printing out error, so that we know some error has occurred over here. We can also add a try catch block or like another things to showcase the error to the user, something kind of the snack bar thing which we have used in login. So we can also go with that approach, but I am avoiding that for now. Now we are having a next thing which is the verification failed. So in case if verification is failing, so we'll be having the Firebase auth exception over here. So I'll be naming it as FAB. That's a short form for Firebase auth exception. So it should be FAE. And herein I can print out the exception. Next we are having, so it needs to be FAE, my bad. And next thing which we are having is the code send thing. So the next thing which we are having over here is the code send thing. So herein it will be taking various different items starting with a string and an integer. So for the string we'll be having the verification ID, and for the integer we'll be having the force resending token. So adding those things as well, string would be verification ID and integer would be kind of nullable, and I'll be naming it as force resending token. And herein we'll be displaying the user with a dialog box, the dialog box which will be providing him with an option to enter the code so that he can complete with the authentication service. So yeah, I need to add a show dialog box over here, but it's not showing me an option for the same. So show dialog, maybe I was having a typo. Context would be context. For the builder we'll be having context at first, and later on we'll be returning alert dialog box over here. So alert dialog, we'll be returning that. And one more thing which we need to add over here after the context is the barrier dismissible. So I'll be setting it as true. It takes a boolean, so that's why a true for this. And after this I guess we need to add semicolon. And now we need to work on this alert dialog box. So for the alert dialog box we have a title at first, which will be saying what you want to display as a title. So for the title I'll be having a text being displayed which will be saying give me the code. Next we'll be having the content. So for the content we'll be having a column having the size as main axis size dot minimum. And after this some children's inside this column, starting with a text field which takes a controller which will be equal to the code controller we have created above. And yeah, this was pretty much it for the text field. Now coming out of this column and adding some actions which will be basically the buttons which that will be displayed to the user and he can interact with. So at first we'll be having an elevated button which takes a child as a text. So we have an on pressed at first, and let me add a child as a text saying confirm. And for the on pressed as well I can add some things. So as soon as the on pressed is clicked, let me add an async over here. Yeah, so now as soon as the on press will be clicked, we'll be first getting the code from the controller. So creating a variable for the same underscore code controller dot text dot trim to remove the spaces. And after that we'll be making an auth credential request over here, or we'll be getting the variable from the auth credentials. So credential, and that would be equal to the phone auth provider. So phone auth provider dot credential, and herein we need to pass the verification ID which will be equal to the verification ID which we are getting in over here. And for this SMS code we can pass the code directly, whatever the code which we have got from controller, the code controller. So we can pass that thing over here. Now we have got the credentials and we want the result as well. So I'll be making a sign in with credential request here again. And inside this, as soon as we are completing this auth credential thing, so I need to make a request, or I can directly go above as I have already added a request. So copying it from here, and where it was, here it is, pasting it here, adding a semicolon and removing an S from here, which makes this request as a complete one as well. And now we have a user again, and we can then store the value inside that user variable as we did earlier. So let me just copy the things from top again, and we can make this if else request again, and after storing this user over here. So okay, yeah, so we have stored the user inside this result variable, and then we are having this user check which will be taking us to the phone home screen accordingly, and we are having this error as well being displayed. if the user is not, particular user is having some error while trying to log in. So yeah, this was for this particular option, that is the code sent option. And now we have a last option, that's code auto retrieval timeout, which will be having string and verification ID at first, but we'll be keeping it null for now, as we won't be interacting it with much. And it is basically that for how much time the code auto retrieval should work, so we can retrieve the code again and again. So we can specify that thing over here, but I won't be going much into that, as we are only here to implement the authentication, the basic part of it, and the ones which are mostly used in the beginner level projects or the medium level projects. For these I'll be making some other videos as well later on, so make sure to stay tuned for the same. And now we can start with the build widget for our this screen, that is the phone underscore sign in screen. So at first I'll be having a scaffold over here, which will be taking a body directly and a single child scroll view inside it. And for this single child scroll view, we will be having a child as a container. For this container, we will be having a padding of h insets.all, and the padding value would be 32 from all the sides. And for the child of this container, we will be having a form. And this form takes a column as its child, so column. And after that we'll be having cross axis alignment and main axis alignment in this column, as we had them over here. So copying them, pasting it again inside this column. And now we can start with the children's for this column, which will be having a text at first saying login. Next we'll be having a sized box of height 16, and next another text form field, which will be taking a decoration, focus border, and some other properties as well. So it's just for improving the UI part. So let me add this quickly. Input decoration, and this takes an enabled border, and for the enabled border I can pass outline input border, I guess, and this takes a border radius. This border radius would be all with the value of radius dot circular, and but the value of that circular would be 8. So border radius would be equal to border radius dot all, and herein radius dot circular with the value of 8, adding some commas so that the formatting could take place effectively. And here it is expecting another. Now you can see that the formatting has taken place, and it's saying that it is expecting a const. Now the blue lines have gone away, and I can similarly add a focus border as well. So copying this and replacing this with focused border, and after this focus border I can add a outline or filled thing. No, not the outline, I can add a filled property which will be equal to true, so that it is having some color filled in. I can specify the fill color. So colors dot red, it should be red, and I can add a hint text so that the user is also getting some hint of what he needs to do over here. And it takes a string directly, so mobile number, and I can specify a controller inside this text form field, which will be equal to phone controller, which we have created above. And after this text form field we'll be having another size box and later a button. So let me add them as well. So herein I have added a text box as well with the height of 16, and next I need to add a container which will be having, or I can replace this container. Earlier I was thinking of having a container with the width of infinity, but I can replace that and add a elevated button directly. And inside this elevated button we'll be having on pressed, for which we'll be having the phone at first. So final phone and phone controller underscore phone controller dot text dot trim, and after that we'll be making a login user request, or directly passing the details regarding the phone number to that login user function which we have created above. So here you can see that we have created this function in the starting of this video, and for the child of this elevated button I can add a text widget saying a login. So text login, and this completes our phone sign in screen as well. Now I need to go to the home screen and copy this text button, pasting it here, replacing this with phone sign in, replacing this with the phone sign in screen. So phone screen, and I need to add this particular container, or add this particular column inside the single child scroll view. So there are chances it may overflow. For now it's not overflowing, so I can leave it as it is now, and later on we can have, or we can add this thing over here. So as in I'll be clicking inside the phone screen, so it will be taking me to that screen, and you can see that we are displayed with the login text and a particular text field having a filled color as red, and hint text as well, and a login button as well. Now I'll be clicking on this mobile number, and I'll be adding my number with the country code. So +91 . So I have added my number over here, and I'll be clicking on the login. So it will be taking some time, and you can see that it has shown me an option that give me the code, and let's wait until the code is occurring over here, or like we need to check again. And I guess I can specify, or I have specified the code earlier, that's 123456 for this number. So let me try entering that, and when I'll be clicking on confirm, you can see that it is showing me that you are now logged in, and I have also displayed with my phone number over here. Let me try sending a code again, or let me just try and remove the particular this number from the console, and then I can get a particular code for this phone number as well. So I'll be quickly removing it from console and switching the ID again. Let me show you as well what I am doing, or what I am talking about. And removing this as well from here. Inside this project I have already specified the code under this authentication for the phone number sign in method. So here is the phone sign in method, and you can see that the optional things are already added over here. I'll be deleting it, remove, cancel, and yeah, now I'll be going back to the app, or showing you the app as well. Going back again, and refreshing the app once. So hot reload over there, and it may take some time because a large number of things are running in the background as well. So as I was talking about the overflow, so we have this keyboard open, so that's why it was showing us an overflow. We can easily handle this condition and add a single child scroll view over there. But for now I'll be clicking on the phone sign in button, entering the number again, clicking on the login button. So it will be taking a few minutes, and it is showing us an option that it is asking us for the code. Let's wait for a while until the code appears for us. So you can see that it has shown us a code over here on the top. So it will be taking some time to restart, or I can just stop the app and rerun the app, and I'll resume the recording once the app has started running again. So here you can see that the app has restarted, and now I'll be clicking on this phone sign in button from here, entering my mobile number again. Clicking on the login button, and it will be taking some time and displaying us with the give me the code screen. And let's wait for the code, although like I have already received a code on the top, and here you can see that as I was already signed in, it has also sent me the code, and it has directly taken me to that particular logged in screen. So yeah, this is how you will be getting the code for your app or related to your app. You can customize these things inside your Firebase dashboard itself. So I'll be showing you, or I can show you this quickly in the last part of this video. And this is how you will be getting your verification code, and there is also a ID, specific unique ID attached to this code. So you have this unique ID also attached with this message. So each of this user will be having a unique ID attached to this. So each time you are getting a verification code, you will be getting this ID as well along with that code inside that user or inside that phone number. So yeah, this is how you can add this particular thing inside your project. And let me now show you the screen. So where it is, the Google Chrome screen. So you can see over here that I have two users signed in with phone number inside my project. So you can see over here how it will be looking inside this dashboard when you have users signed in with phone number, anonymous, Twitter, GitHub, and email and password. The sign in method I have already shown you. For editing that message or how that message would be looking, you can directly go inside this the templates thing, and from this SMS verification you can edit that particular message from here. So the unique ID which we were talking about was the app name which was being displayed to you. So inside in here that you can see that this is your verification code and this code is occurring. So I guess this is the app name which is occurring for you, and here we are having the login code. We can directly edit this and add whatever our text is or whatever we want the text to this to be. So most probably I don't think we can edit it if we are having the account as Spark plan only. We need to add the billing account to edit this or to manipulate these things over here. So yeah, this is the option from where you can make the edit request inside your Flutter application when you are trying to add the SMS verification thing inside your Flutter project. So this was pretty much it for this video. To sum up, I have covered about the phone sign-in authentication thing where the user would be getting an OTP, and then user has to verify that OTP and he'll be logged in inside your Flutter project. And this was pretty much it for this video. If you have got to learn something new from this video, then make sure to drop a like, comment down your thoughts and what you have learned, subscribe to the channel to get all the latest updates related to a new video being posted every alternate day for this Flutter development course, and share the videos and the playlist with the people in your community who want to learn Flutter. So a new video is posted every alternate day. Make sure to share it with your folks as well. And yeah, make sure to check out Newton School and Launchpad through the link given in the description. They are doing amazing work, so make sure to give them a try as well. And this was pretty much it for this video. I'll be seeing you in the next one.